Darling unloads one, deep left center. Back to the warning track goes Herrera. Near the wall, it's off the base. Here's Nimmo around third. He'll come in to score. The Mets take the lead.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Shea Station podcast brought to you by Jomboy Media. Sorry we took kind of a break there. I was feeling a little under the weather, but we're back now. We're ready to talk about another series win against Philadelphia. Jerry, I haven't talked to you in a while. How you doing?
I know. Man? First of all, no need to apologize. We didn't take a break. We didn't skip any days. We just didn't get the content out on the off day. So if the Mets take an off day, you feeling under the weather yourself can get an off day too. We didn't miss anything. Excuse. We didn't skip a series. We're putting out the content that we were destined to put out.
Exactly. And I mean, you know what? Like, if the Mets are taking time to relax, I feel like I should be able to too. But, content's a race. I get it. I understand. It's a whole grind.
Well, yeah, but I'm good, man. This is a busy week. My son turns 4 on the 14th. And so we have his party on Saturday. And then we have one of his preschool classmates has their party on Sunday. So it's just a full week. We're all planning. We're hosting here. And so my wife is busy readying the house because this is where she shines. She shines in many areas, but hosting like an event is truly remarkable with what she does. So I just sit back and enjoy it.
And you told me before we started recording the show that you were on the A's broadcast this week. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did the pregame show yesterday because the A's are playing in Detroit. So they called me in. They wanted to relive our 2012 Oakland A's season since it's the 10-year anniversary. And they played Detroit. We played Detroit in the playoffs. Just a magical season. I've talked about it before. My favorite baseball season I've ever been a part of as a player. Awesome. So it was fun to talk about that, to relive a little bit.
Yeah, Mets fans, if you're not familiar with that team, go check them out. Go familiarize yourself. It's a great story. Jerry's a huge part of that team. Jerry's told me many stories about
super fun, man. It's it's unlikely, like an underdog story, and that's for me, that's the most fun in sports, is like when you're come out of kind of nowhere. It's beautiful. So, but let's talk Mets, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
they don't care about A's content. This is a Mets. We're Shea Station. This isn't the Coliseum chat, whatever.
Ooh.
That's the best I can come with.
If we ever start an A's podcast, that's pretty good, man.
How about Coliseum Convo or something like that?
Oh, I like that.
I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, my perfect segue was kind of ruined there because I was going to say the 2012 A's had some magic. So did our Mets this past weekend. Then you just threw an axe in it, man.
Gosh.
Come on.
Come on. You can't have fun. That's why we can't have nice things, Jolly.
Guys, the Mets won another series. They haven't lost one this year, and the talk of the town is what happened in Game 1. I'm going to take you right there, if that's cool with you, Jerry.
Let's do it.
Taijuan Walker had to face the Phillies yet again. The guy can't catch a break. He has to face the same lineup over and over and over again. He finally got roughed up a little bit, which is to be expected when you're facing that potent lineup over and over. He went 4 innings. He allowed 6 earned runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 2 home runs. We hadn't really seen the home run ball plague Taijuan yet this season, but it kind of all encapsulated in the 3rd inning there. The 4-run first inning kind of got heightened by Lindor's error. That was a little uncharacteristic, and Taijuan will hopefully get to face the Nationals in this upcoming series and get a nice change of pace. Aaron Nola, on the other hand, was awesome. He's looked pretty good against the Mets this year. He struck out 7 over 7 solid innings, 1 earned run there, 3 hits, 1 walk, and just the Starling Marte home run. Starling Marte is a huge star of this game. We're going to talk a little bit more about him in a little bit. Adonis Medina and Chasen Shreve in sort of garbage time relief, if you can call it that, were really, really good. 4 shutout innings that kept the Mets in the ball game. We didn't really know if it was going to be a ball game until the 9th inning, but they proved to be kind of the unsung MVPs of this game because of what happened in the 9th inning. The Mets came into the 9th inning down 7-1. James Norwood took the mound for the Phillies. And then, I don't really know, Starling Marte beats out an infield single by a stride. Lindor breaks out of his slump with a 2-run home run. An Alonso double, a McNeil single. Canna hits a ball that would be a tailor-made up-the-middle double play, and it just kicks off the leg of Corey Knebel. Miraculously, the Mets catch a break. They get an RBI infield hit. JD hits a fastball. He's been really struggling with it this year. He turns on one, shoots it down the left field line. That's an RBI double. And then Brandon Nimmo sees the Knievel curveball the first pitch, remembers it, gets it on the third pitch, and just dunks it into center field. Jankowski was the pinch runner. He scores from second. The Mets tie the game at 7. Starling Marte jumps on the first pitch. I thought it was going to be a 2-run homer. It bounces off the top of the center field wall for an RBI double, and the Mets put together 5 consecutive 2-out RBIs to complete a 7-run rally with just 29 pitches thrown over 11 batters, which is incredible. And Knievel, who had been really good to that point, he allowed 1 earned run in 10 1/3 innings prior, lets up 3 runs before he finishes the inning. Edwin Diaz, who's looked great all season, came in for a perfect opportunity for him, locked down a perfect 9th, got his 6th save, and the Mets won another game that I feel like I've seen these Mets lose before.
It was wonderful. We'll circle back, but we're moving on to game 2. We had 2 rainouts. We had a rained out the following day, and then a doubleheader rain out. So this is a couple of days later. The momentum kind of shifted. You didn't feel that, that dominance coming back. The Phillies got to actually take a deep breath and gather themselves. Max Scherzer on the bump against Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson got roughed up a little bit with the Mets in his last outing. Was really erratic with his location. He turned it on. Scherzer goes 6, gave up 3 runs on 10 hits, mostly weak, but Bryce Harper had his number, jumped on him in the first inning with a big 2-out home run. And then later with a nice little knock to center field, knocked in the second run of the game. Mets go 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, grounding into 3 double plays. They go hitless versus that bullpen that imploded in game 1, failed to score runs when they put runners on with walks. And then Corey Knebel redeems himself with a nice 1-2-3 9th inning to lock down the save. Max Scherzer gets tagged with his first regular season loss in 25 starts. May 30th, 2021 was his last regular season loss. They had every chance to win. They just didn't come through. And the Phillies took game 2.
Yeah, I feel like we talk a lot when we do our series probables about, like, you shouldn't bank on a sweep. You shouldn't be asking for a sweep. But, like, this was a game the Mets definitely could have won. I also kind of feel bad because our formula is I take the bread games and you take the meat of the sandwich. You're always getting the loss, man.
That's
You're always
okay.
getting
Let's
the
sandwich
loss.
it in with a victory at the game 3.
Yeah, so they came back for game 3, the second game of the day for that doubleheader. The Mets lost their first doubleheader game of the year in that first game, but Pete Alonso was on one in this game. He had a 2-run tater off Christopher Sanchez in the first inning. Chris Bassett was on the hill against the Phillies. He put together a solid start. He's been yielding soft contact all year, and that was kind of his formula for success in this game. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run on 5 hits with just 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, threw 101 pitches and allowed a home run. But after a J.D. Davis error, he retired 11 consecutive batters in a row, which is really good. Lowers his ERA to 2.45 over 6 starts. Alonso again, later in the game in the 5th inning off Nick Nelson, who kind of has, like, stymied the Mets a little bit this year in his relief. He waited on a 2-0 fastball right down the pipe and just tattooed it at, I think, like 450 feet. 3-run homer for him. He went 3 for 5, 2 homers, 5 RBIs on the day. And then Chase and Shreve, Drew Smith, and Seth Lugo were awesome in relief, 3 1/3 shutout innings. Drew Smith has yet to allow a run in 12 1/3 innings this year, and Chase and Shreve has been quietly maybe the 3rd best reliever in the Mets bullpen on a minor league deal. He lowers his ERA to 1.54. Lugo's all the way back down to 3.18 after that rocky start. The Mets win the series. They move to 20-10. They take another set, and they're 6-3 versus Philly this year, which is awesome.
Yep, and they rescheduled a game for later. They're going to have another scheduled doubleheader. I think it's in August. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
We can get you the date.
Yeah, I think it's August 20th.
Yeah, August 20th, although they have a scheduled doubleheader to make up for the one game that they did lose. A good series, man. That first comeback, epic comeback, like an absolute definer. We talked about next man up. That was next man up. 27 outs. That's a style of baseball that is beautiful to watch, easy to root for. They're never done. They never just cash it in, never just roll over and let the game go because they know they got to play tomorrow. That is hard to do because the season is 162 games, is so many games. It's really easy for a team down 7-1 in the 9th, to just be like, all right, let's just go ahead and end this. I'm not trying to do anything, but Marte legs out that single. That was huge, man. And then Lindor jumps on that first pitch, looked good, a beautiful classic Lindor swing. And then they just kept it going. That was awesome. Scherzer looked pretty good. He gave up 10 hits, which has got to be like his high for a long time.
So
But
many little dinks, though.
A lot of them were little bloops over, infield choppers. Again, Harper got him a couple of times. Alec Boehm actually did they had like a little hit and run where he scooted one, but kind of a tough loss thing. And that's what happens. And then Bassett, I was so impressed with Chris Bassett in game 3. He had one of those, had a stupid balk called on him that could have, shaken his momentum and his confidence. And instead he just was like, all right, I'll handle that. He had a JD Davis error that was, a pretty bad. And he goes, oh, okay, I'll just pick it up. That's what you need out of a veteran guy. It's easy to say Max Scherzer transitions for the Mets, like, acquisitions with Marte and everything. Chris Bassett has just been that solid guy, that steadying presence, that force to just solidify how good this rotation really is. Not an unsung hero, but I think maybe even underappreciated, for how good he's been and how good he's been in his career the last couple of years. So
yeah, I think underappreciated is the better word there, because like we don't know how good Chris Bassett is. We got very, very hyped up when they acquired him, but I think that his formula for how he succeeds is perfect for this team. I think he's the leader in MLB right now for the lowest velocity average on contact against him. And for a team that is great defensively, aside from that JD Davis error, that is a formula for consistent, continued, sustainable success. And Bassett just looked great. He kept his composure. Segura hit the home run off him. He also hit one right to the warning track later on that I think just stayed in. Probably would have been out on a different day, but we'll take that to the bank. And also about Max Scherzer, I think it's kind of funny, just like that our standard for Scherzer is so high because we know how good he is, that a 6-inning, 3-earned run performance is considered like he was kind of off his game a little bit. Like 10 hits stands out for sure. He still didn't walk anybody, still struck out 7, let up his home run that, he usually does. So, I mean, Scherzer still had a great start.
I expect 6 with 1 run and 10 punchies every day. Yeah, I mean, there's the bar set high because he's that good and he's getting paid to do that. He had a quality start, that's the old, definer. I'll take it, but his expectations are high and they should be high. Shout out to Pete Alonso. Yeah. Game 3 looked incredible. Here's the thing. The Mets style of baseball is sustainable. Good defense, manufacturing runs. They are very heavily reliant upon Pete Alonso's power production.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. Pete Alonso he plays every day. He's in there every day regardless. But I would like to see somebody step up with a little bit of pop. Lindor showed some, but I would like Eddie Escobar has had a rough run. Marte still hasn't hit his stride. Marquand has been hitting, but his power is not there yet. We need somebody, I think maybe I don't know who it could be.
Well, yeah, that's like the toughest part of this whole thing.
Guy.
That's where I was going to kind of take this conversation. So Eddie Escobar's 0 for his last 12. He has 1 home run on the year. Canna, 1 for his last 9. 1 home run on the year. Like, these guys are doing what they do great, but you're not getting the pop you need out of them. Dom Smith, ever since, winning that roster spot back, 0 for 8, 4 strikeouts. JD Davis, he doesn't play every day, but he had a great series when he did play. And I highlighted it, I think in the notes here somewhere. Dom did strike out before JD Davis's at-bat in that 7-run rally in the 9th inning. So the game was kind of turned to JD in that moment, and he seized the spotlight, and I was really impressed. I just feel like he's taking a lot of good at-bats. I feel like the formula to get JD out, the book is out on high fastballs. Pitchers know that. They know to feed him that, and I think he's kind of adapting a little bit. I feel like we've seen him take a lot of walks this season. I feel like he's waiting to get his pitches, and he's still catching the fastballs that are lower in the zone. I kind of think that maybe, because we have a Nats series with Patrick Corbin coming up, which JD Davis is his best friend. They love each other. And 3, pretty shaky Nats pitchers as a whole. I think this would be a really good opportunity to maybe play JD every game and just see what he has, because I feel like he's been taking really good at-bats when he gets them. And like you said, the Mets are kind of desperate for power right now. Like, you don't want Lindor to be that guy. You want Lindor to just keep his head straight and do what he does best and succeed that way, because he looks much more comfortable this year, in my opinion. But at the same time, somebody needs to protect Pete, because you're not going to get those Sunday game twos all the time where Pete just carries the entire offense and gets 5 RBI. He's going to have an off day, and that's perfectly fine. He's human. But somebody needs to be there to pick up the slack. And yep. I like JD Davis right now.
I think so too. I saw some of your tweets in favor of JD, and that made me think like he might be the guy to step in behind Alonso, but he's going to have to be a steady presence. I think it's going to be Eddie Escobar once he kind of gets his feet planted firmly in the ground and kind of decides and it looks like he's still searching for his identity in this offense a little bit. He doesn't sure what he wants to do. He just needs to play some ball. They're still winning. They're still doing great. This is a sustainable formula. I just don't want the Mets to rely on Alonso, even though he is very capable of carrying this team. I just think that, God forbid something were to happen to Alonso, that if he missed any significant time, there's a glaring hole, which is why we were talking about trying to acquire Schwarber or something like that. And
right.
there's still moves that could be made.
Well, I mean, at the trade deadline, there are a ton of guys that could easily
there'll be
slot
plenty
into
of guys
that
out
DH
there
role.
if there's a need, if the Mets see that there's a need. Along with, they were talking about, since Trevor May went down, trying to get a back end bullpen. I think Shreve and Drew Smith for sure is
so
proven
good
through any bit of the lineup. I actually really do believe in Chase and Shreve. I believe in Chase and Shreve. Is that a thing?
That's a shirt right there, baby. We've been churning out the merch.
Oh my gosh. I do, man. I love that splitty that he brings. He's a smart pitcher. He's learned who he is. He learned who he's not. He's not trying to do things that are out of his comfort zone. Very, very good.
I just feel comfortable when he's on the mound.
I do too.
I feel like you don't get that a lot from a guy that, like, you brought in on a minor league deal. You weren't even sure if he was going to make the team, and he just looks like he's been a part of this bullpen for years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key. You talked about, you just feel good. You feel confident when he's on the mound. That's not just a fan watching the game. That's what the whole team feels. And when you feel it when you're watching, but Buck feels it, Hefner feels it, and so does the rest of his team, understands that he's going to come in, he's going to give you a solid outing. That goes a long way because it's palpable. You can feel confidence, through and through. It shows, those shaky bullpen outings where, back when Familia had a rough time finding the strike zone, and it's just like you're just moving around in your seat. That's an actual feeling the whole place has. And so it's Chase and Shreve has been solid, man. So I like them. I like him at the back. Joely looking like every bit the guy that they needed him to be.
It's crazy. He
fits better. I was talking about it during that trade. Everybody was down on Castro leaving. Understandably, his stuff is, second to none pretty much. But Joely fits this bullpen, man. His where he slots in, it's special.
I tweeted it, but I said I'll gladly eat my words on Joely Rodriguez. If he's going to be this good, he looks like he's figured out his approach. I feel like Buck is figuring out how to use him a little bit more properly too. Ever since he was a big piece of that no-hitter, I just feel like his confidence is up, and I feel like the Mets are using him in better spots. I have a fun question for you, because I'm genuinely curious. I want you're an unbiased media personality, so I want the raw answer. The Mets are in a high intense playoff game. Doesn't matter where it is. It's important. They have to win it. It's 1-0. It's the 8th inning, and there's 3 righties coming up. Who gets the 8th inning before Edwin Diaz?
It's Drew Smith for me. It's not even close right now. It's
Drew
Smith. Again, things can change throughout the year, but right now, it's easy to look at the numbers, and Drew, he hasn't given up a run, but he's done it in all different roles, and he's been doing it for a while. He did it last year, and he's gotten nothing but better. So Drew Smith's my guy at the back end right there.
Yeah, I feel like we're like every start, I feel like I see him coming a little bit later, and I feel like eventually he's just gonna be the setup guy, and I'm cool with it. I
I am
really
too.
am
So
cool
is
with it.
everybody. That's the thing. You've got a huge, Ottavino is a established veteran. He's not going to bitch and moan that Drew Smith slides in after him. Trevor May's the same way. These guys, when healthy, they're great. Ottavino's nasty. He's proven it. But Drew Smith can do it in a different way, in a more consistent way, in my vision. And so
Yeah,
these guys are understanding, and they all want to win a World Series. And so Drew Smith right now, until proven otherwise, is slated behind Edwin Diaz. And Edwin Diaz,
oh
boy,
yeah.
he looks great.
It is so crazy how the fan base perception of Edwin Diaz has flipped so quickly.
He
And
earned it.
I was going to say the same thing. He's absolutely earned it. He's just looked lights out. And I know that, like, it's too early to call these things, but I feel like we've seen a lot of closers struggle this year or come back down to earth, but nobody has taken a step forward like Edwin Diaz has. And I feel like he is in the realm of like a top 3, top 2 reliever right now. And it begs the question, like, he's a free agent soon. Like, we have to start thinking about, like, is he the plan going forward? Obviously that's a back burner question, but it's really nice to think that when the trade deadline eventually comes and the Mets will likely move to make acquisitions, acquiring a closer I think is something they don't need to worry about.
Yeah, I agree. And as far as like long-term sustainability and do they lock him up? The good thing is I think Sugar wants to be here, wants to be with the Mets. He's already seen what it's like when you change and you go to a new place and you have all these expectations on you. He's seen his struggles. He's very comfortable, and being comfortable and confident in yourself we've seen it, how important it is, especially in shorter outings. And so I think he wants to be here too. They're set up for success. When does he become a free agent? Is it after next year?
I need to check. I initially thought it was after this year. I think it might be after 2023. I'm going to get you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's even
No,
if it's
he's a free agent after this season.
after this season. So I can
Yep.
see them, getting together and being a mutual thing. Because he wants to win too, and this team is set up. He can give him. Scherzer's going to be here, DeGrom, all that.
Yep.
So the pieces are here for sustained success. It'd be nice
And
to see him.
it's such a nice arc because he
Yeah.
goes from nice, quiet, rainy Seattle to coming to a scary New York market in the juiced ball year and just set up for complete failure. And he's really come around. It's really been nice to see. Before we get to our apple of our eye segment,
Okay.
Jerry, I gotta tell you about DraftKings, dude.
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
Gotta tell you about DraftKings,
Clue
guys.
me in.
Slide into stacks of cash this baseball season with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Place a bet on the Mets this week because they got the Nationals coming up, and I think we all know what's going to happen. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling cocky. I'm feeling a little show. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $150, in free bets no matter what if you win or lose. Looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during the MLB season with DraftKings same-game parlays, you can do just that. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team will win, how many bases will be stolen, total runs, and more. It's your shot at an even bigger payout. So like Mets win, Starling Marte stolen base, Pete Alonso home run. Get yourself some cash. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code JOMBOY as always. Bet just $5 and get $150 in free bets no matter what happens on the field. That's promo code JOMBOY at the DraftKings Sportsbook. There you go.
Nailed it.
As always.
Now on to the apple of our eye.
Jerry, you go first as always.
You want me to go first?
Of course.
All right, I'm going to go first. We didn't discuss this pre-show. I just want to highlight, we talked about his dependency in the Mets, how much they depend on him. The apple of my eye is Mr. Pete Alonso.
Woo-hoo.
There's nobody that earns it more. The more and more I watch Pete Alonso, the more I appreciate him. I've always been a big fan. I think he is a budding superstar in this game, not just in the New York media. He's already an established home run hitter. I truly believe personality-wise, he's not like your He's not like Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna, Bryce Harper, all these like superstars. He is like a different style of ball player. He doesn't look like Giancarlo Stanton, but he's a big, strong guy, right?
He's a big, strong guy.
He's a big, strong guy. He's like an everyman, like he's.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the reason why I love Pete Alonso so much is that Pete Alonso isn't cool. He's like not like he doesn't have swag. He's like a goofball. He's always like sliding all over the place, making goofy plays, but he just mashes and he loves the Mets, and I love him.
I agree, man. He loves baseball. His vigor for the game of baseball and life in general so I was talking to Jimmy Jomboy, and we were trying to figure it out because he loves Pete Alonso as well. And he used the word to describe Pete Alonso that I think is perfect. And he's earnest.
Yes.
He's not cool, although he thinks he is a little bit, and he wants to be really badly.
And I love that too.
I do too. It's earnest. It's so endearing and likable. He's like the kid in the cool kids group at the lunch table in high school that's just like, yeah, we love him, man. He's here.
Yeah.
He's
one of us.
He's one of us. He's a great athlete, but just kind of a goober. I love Pete Alonso. This series went 5 for 12, 2 home runs, 5 RBI, 3 runs scored, a walk, and only 3 punch outs. He carried the team in game 3, a very, very important game to win, to solidify that series, to move him into the off day. He's my guy. He leads the National League with 26 RBI. He trails only Jose Ramirez, who's in the Cleveland Guardians lineup, who has 30 right behind him. He's a special player. He's really starting to shine. This Mets team is special. I think he's going to start to get an elevated attention. He's not even like a talk of his own. When people talk about the Mets, they'll just be like Lindor, Scherzer, DeGrom, Diaz, and then be like, oh yeah, they have a guy, Pete Alonso, who's a great home run hitter, won a couple of home run derbies, but I don't think he gets his just due. But I think we're going to see it.
Yeah, I love that you pointed out that last part about how he's like our home run hitter. I feel like I've seen Pete go oppo and beat the shift like more than I ever have in his entire career in just this one like month and 2 weeks alone. He's been just like such a dynamic hitter this year, and like he's well on pace for over 100 RBIs, which I think is awesome. That's going to keep happening because right now he is the score guy's guy, because like we said before, there's not a lot of protection behind him. So he's always getting these opportunities with runners in scoring position, which is really nice because in that like August-September swoon last year, there was always bases empty and it was always solo home runs for Pete, and I just felt bad because I felt like it was a barren wasteland for him in that lineup, and now he's just got table setters galore, and I feel like he's really thriving because of it. So great pick, obviously, for our apple of our eye. Little claps for Pete Alonso, our guy, our uncool king. Love him. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little different here. I thought about Chris Bassett. This was a standard Chris Bassett start. He looked great. Nothing too spectacular, but he does what Chris Bassett does, which I loved.
He was needed in that game 3 as well, man. And he overcame a couple of hiccups that could have gone momentum swings the other way. I like that.
I heavily, heavily considered Adonis Medina because 2 2/3 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 hit, 1 strikeout in the Game 1 comeback. I mean, if he's shaky and gives up the 2 runs that you might expect him to, like that game it already seemed out of reach, but it's way more out of reach. So he was integral to that comeback, and he's not going to get any recognition for it. He's not my pick. My pick is going to be the guy that started and ended the rally on Game 1, and that's Starling Marte, who really looks like he's coming around now. It really looks like he's starting to get hot, which I love. We gave him some love in the Arizona series, but he looks even better now. I feel like this is the beginning of the hot streak where he starts to come around. He went 5 for 11, 2 doubles, a home run, 2 RBI, 3 runs, a walk, 3 strikeouts. The only thing he didn't do in this series, which kind of shocked me, was steal a base. And I feel like, we've kind of seen him step back from that ever since he got caught a few times. But Marte's taking good at-bats. He's jumping on pitches that he can hit when he sees them. I feel like he was being a little overly patient towards the beginning of the season. He was working a lot of good at-bats. And I think that I'm glad that the Mets are moving him away from the top of the lineup because he's been getting hits in a lot of high leverage situations. And that's not really someone you want in the 1 or 2 hole, even though that's like what Marte has traditionally done. He's a speedster. He hits for contact. It makes sense to put him at the top. But we have Nimmo up there. We have Jeff McNeil, who never strikes out. He's always making contact and slapping it around. You can have Marte in the middle of the lineup to get these guys in. He's not your power guy, and we talked about that before. But when Marte is hitting like 5th or 6th, I'm feeling really good about this Mets lineup. It showed in this series, and I hope that he just steadies it and continues taking good at-bats, keeps working walks, keeps coming around to score. And, that 7-run rally, that doesn't start if he grounds out to begin the inning. I really think it just doesn't get jump-started that way. So starting Marte, he gets the apple of my eye. But I love both of our picks.
I do too, man. I really want Starling Marte to shine. I really am. If he really dials it up to where he can be, I saw what he did last year with the A's when they acquired him.
Oh yeah,
he became the best player on that team with Matt Olson, with Canna, with Matt Chapman. He became the catalyst, the spark plug for that team, kind of right off the bat. And so I want him to get comfortable and to start to be himself so badly, because it's special what he can do. It's different. And this Mets lineup, this offense is catered to guys like him succeeding. And I think once he really gets comfortable and slides in, wherever the case may be, I think it's going to be, the Mets can turn it up another level because he's so dynamic.
Yeah, he went to Oakland, played 56 games, hit 16 doubles, 5 home runs, 30 RBI, stole 25 bases in 56. That's a stolen base every 2 games. Also hit 316. He's crazy.
Wonderful.
He can be that good. That was last season.
He can be. Great. I like both of our guys. You mentioned Adonis Medina, Chasen Shreve. We talked about Drew Smith. So this is the difference between a really good team and a great team, is the depth of the bullpen.
Yep.
Because it gives the Mets a chance when you're down 7-1 or 5-2 and you can't go to your primary relievers. You bring in another guy. Your job is to keep it close and allow a dynamic offense a chance to come back, to have some breathing room. You have no break. This is what's great, is the bullpen is deep, man. Everybody that they bring in is very capable of throwing up zeros consistently. And that will give you a chance to come back and snake a couple of wins at the end. If it's consistent, if all these guys continue to produce at such a really, really great levels, this team's going to win a lot of ball games, man, because they're going to be in chances to sneak some comebacks or take advantage of a reliever on another team having a bad day, and they're going to be able to jump all over that, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, after that shaky start where they blew a couple games, the bullpen ERA is down to 3.53. They're 5th in batting average against with 206. And I just feel like, it's a good group. They all do different things well. Adonis Medina, he's the one that I highlighted. It's really nice to have a 4-pitch long reliever just chilling in your bullpen that you acquired for nothing from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he could be a starter on it, a bad team right
Pittsburgh
now.
Pirates,
like a Pittsburgh Pirates. He probably could be starting games there. Instead, the Mets just have this guy in the back of their bullpen. Another thing I wanted to highlight: the Mets are 8th in soft contact percentage against for their bullpen, 20.6. Yeah. I feel like I see so many Mets pitchers this year that are just ground ball specialists, that are just getting the ball on the ground at low velocities and setting up their defense for easy plays and success. And I feel like that's just been kind of Jeremy Hefner's entire philosophy with these guys, is just keeping the ball down, getting guys to swing at bad pitches, but still making contact. Like, we don't need to strike out everybody.
Man.
Missing barrels. That's all it is.
That's what you're trying to do at all times, is to miss barrels, create weak contact.
Yep.
That game 1 could have been a 25-5 ball game. Easily. It could have steamrolled. I was proud of Taiwan for kind of bouncing back from that first inning. He got roughed up still. He didn't have his great stuff, but going 4 and 6,
after that first inning, it looked like the Pittsburgh start. It looked like it was going to be really, really bad.
And it could have been. It almost should have been, especially in that lineup. And then the first game of a 4-game set, turned out to be 3. But you wear into your bullpen, and your bullpen's fatigued because they threw 8 innings in the game 1 of this series. but it didn't turn out to be that way. And it set up the rest of the series. It would have been even more of a momentum builder had the 2 rainouts not happened. But here we are, man.
I was going to say, it's really tough to have what Gary Cohen put as a win that you can feed off of for months, and then go and miss 2 days of baseball immediately. This very easily could have been a series that the Mets lost, especially after they lost the first game of the doubleheader. I feel like that would have really thrown a wrench in the team's momentum, and I know momentum has many definitions. A lot of people don't believe in it, whatever. I think it's palpable for this Mets team. I think it's very true. I do not believe in momentum. Yeah, that's a whole other thing, but... You
can't calculate it. It's
exactly. If you can't put a number on it, it's not real.
If you don't know how to write it down, then it doesn't exist.
But these guys in the clubhouse know it, and I really like this quote from Pete after the game, because he gets asked about the Mets being the first team to 20 wins, which they were, which is really nice, at least 6-game lead. He says, hell yeah, that's great, but we want to win the division. And I feel like I've heard that from Scherzer, I've heard it from Bassett. These guys don't care about how well that they've started, because if they're not hanging around by September, none of this shit matters. And we know that from last year. This team was in first place for 3.5 months. We had our eyes set on the postseason, and then the wheels just fell off because these guys were living in the moment and not living for what could be happening later on in the season. So it feels like the whole mentality is different. I feel like maybe a prior Mets team gets down on themselves, loses their etch after that first game and 2 rainouts, and loses the series. But these guys are different. We keep saying it. This team is just different.
Built different. Feels different. Built different. Cool. I love it. You want to move on to the preview of the 3-game set against
the Mets
Nationals? You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, man. Go for it.
Game 1, we have Cookie Carrasco against Patrick Corbin. Cookie coming off that 8-inning beautiful outing of his, really solidified himself as a bright spot in this already shining star of a rotation against Patrick Corbin, who has struggled, had a couple of good quality back-to-back starts coming in. But the guys that we'll be watching to face off against Patrick Corbin are, as the aforementioned, Pete Alonso, 11 for 32 career with 4 homers, 7 RBI. J.D. Davis, the guy that might be protecting the polar bear, versus Corbin, 10 for 30. It's pretty good with 4 homers and 6 RBI. Game 2, Tylor McGill against Aaron Sanchez. We might remember Aaron Sanchez as the guy in Toronto who looked like a budding superstar, had some weird finger blister issues, and then kind of never bounced back. But we get Sanchez, who has yet to allow less than 3 runs or go more than 5 innings pitched in any game start. Most Mets have no history against this guy, which is good or bad. We'll see. And McGill had a decent start versus Atlanta last time out, inflated by Ottavino cashing in all 3 of those runs. He really looked like Tylor. He looked great, and he held the Nats scoreless over 5 innings with no walks on opening day. His opening day start, where he was popping 99, looking every bit the budding ace. That brings us to Game 3. Mr. Taijuan Walker looking to bounce back from his rough outing with the Phillies against Joan Adon in his 6.99 ERA. Alonso is 1 for 3 career with a grand slam off Adon. This will be Taijuan's first start versus a team not named the Philadelphia Phillies of this year, which is good. He was roughed up in his last start, looking to bounce back, and the Mets have scored 4 off of Adon and 4 1/3 innings pitch in his lone start against the Mets this year.
Nicely done, Jerry. Can I say? Nicely done.
Yeah,
a lot of good takeaways here. One is Cookie, who really bounced back well in his last start, really looked awesome. Great response to a tough start against St. Louis. JD's going to start against Patrick Corbin every time this team faces him. Of course, the book is out. JD owns this guy. We know it. Tylor McGill, his ERA should be lower. Otto he pitched the 3rd day in a row. It happens. He was fatigued. We could all tell. Tyler looked really good. I'm not worried about him at all. He owned the Nats when they faced him for the first time. Aaron Sanchez is a name I haven't heard in a while, so good for him. Glad he's back in the bigs. And then Taijuan Walker, he finally gets to not face the Phillies. I feel like a lot of people are making fun of the Phillies because of the defense and the bullpen, but to act like this team is bad is incorrect. That lineup can mash any time that they want, and if they get things going, they're going to be scary. And Taijuan had to face them 3 times in a row. We already talked about how tough it is to face a team back-to-back starts. every outing so far this year, Taijuan has had to face this behemoth of a lineup. So I'm glad he's getting a little breather here. Hopefully he shows up versus the Nats and has a good start. Because, David Peterson had 5 shutout innings in AAA. Like, he's still hanging around. He still wants that spot. So, I mean, there's a little room for competition there, which I kind of like.
Yeah, and we're coming into Washington. Who's the best hitter in all the land?
It's probably Cesar Hernandez, right?
He might be, but it's Mr. Juan Soto, obviously. I believe he's in a little bit of a slump.
Yeah.
Are we? Can we say that?
I wanna read you a very fun stat line because I think it perfectly encapsulates the year that the Nationals are having. Juan Soto has 6 home runs, which is really good. Do you want to guess how many RBI he has?
14.
8. Juan Soto is going through what Pete Alonso went through last year. There's nobody on base for him ever. He's doing what he does. He leads MLB with 24 walks. So, like, a slump, yes, because his OPS is like the lowest it's ever been at 863. But he's still Juan Soto, and he still has punched against the Mets plenty throughout his career. I don't expect him to look bad this series. I expect him to take good at bats. But yes, I guess you can technically say this is the weakest version of Juan Soto we've seen.
Okay, I'll take it. The weakest version. I'll allow it.
No, we'll take it.
Yeah. So again, the lineup for the Nats that we're gonna be looking for is Juan Soto. You've got Josh Bell, and is Nelson Cruz healthy?
Nelson Cruz is healthy. He's been actually one that's been not hitting great. Josh Bell, on the other hand, has been.
He's had a rough start. Josh Bell looks like the Josh Bell from Pittsburgh. He looks really good. He's doing a good job.
Nelly Cruz is batting 157, a 50 OPS plus, 3 homers on the year, no doubles. So it's kind of been home run, strikeout, or bust. That kind of hitter.
Yep. So, again, it's a short sample size of a start. He can easily still be Nelson Cruz, the ageless wonder.
Yep.
But yeah, should be another series win. You beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. So I expect the Mets to come out and start throwing some haymakers early.
Yeah, this is a kind of an important series for the Mets because we detailed it in previous episodes, but they have a tough month of May. They're in the middle of it right now, and they're doing a good job. After this Nats series, which I consider kind of a break, it's Seattle, who have been slumping, but that's a good team. St. Louis for 4 at home. That's a very good team who we have some beef with, so that's a big series. And then we go on a West Coast trip. We face the Rockies, who have been playing a good brand of baseball.
Rockies have been doing really well.
They're great at home, too, and that's where we're going to be playing them. And then you go to 3 with San Francisco, who also a great team in the NL West. And then you close the month with another set with Philly. So you have 5 consecutive series against good teams. So the Mets need to get fat here. Win a series against a team they know they can beat because there's no breaks for basically the rest of the month.
This is the first time that a team from the East Coast goes to the West Coast and doesn't play San Francisco and LA in the same road trip. What are we doing?
Which is, I'm cool with it.
Well, I mean, what are we doing though? Knock it out.
Oh, I have no idea.
We're gonna have to go back to the West Coast again. Just get it out. Yeah, you're still feeling.
I'm scarred, dude. I don't want
over last year's 13-game road trip that was.
I'm scarred for life, man. Well, we go back. Yeah, it's really weird actually. So here's what happens. We go to Colorado and San Francisco the week of the 20th through the 25th. Then we come home for Phillies and Nats and Braves. And then we go back to LA right after that.
That's what I mean. Just knock it out. Like, that sucks. That's they
go LA, San Diego.
6 hours on a plane both ways, East Coast to West Coast time zone. That's a real deal. Like, that's silly. But this is what you get when you lock out the players, and then the players have to be the ones that wear it. So it's leverage. That's why they keep
as
doing
always.
I don't want to get into it, but that's a tough little West Coast home West Coast.
Yeah, but these guys, they've been playing well. I feel like they're built for it. They're ready for the challenge.
They're going to be able to overcome any obstacle that comes at them.
Yes. So I think that's all we got.
I believe.
Good app.
And Chase and Shreve. Got him.
Gonna have to talk to the merch guys. I'm gonna use that.
Oh, they're sick of hearing about us. They're sick of it. Are we? How's it? Yeah.
We have a new idea every day.
My whole goal is to see somebody in the wild with a Shea Station shirt, sticker on their backpack, whatever the case may be. I want to see like this hoodie. Look at this hoodie.
That's fire.
This is the embroidered, like sewn
So
in.
clean.
It's so good. It's like going to be 85 today, but this is so comfortable in the office.
Got my gray shirt on as always.
By the way, you're rocking it. I want to see somebody in the wild with some of our gear on. I really do.
I also want to see that. I really want to see a Great Human Being shirt out there, just because I feel like it's kind of heat. It's kind of a good shirt. It's kind of fun. You don't need to be a baseball fan to wear it.
Of my son's like his scooter helmet with the Great Human Being sticker plastered on top,
so people know your son's a great human being.
They gotta know. It's kind of a cocky thing, like, hey, I'm a great human being.
Go to shop.jomboymedia.com/Shea Station. Make Jerry a happy guy. Why not?
I want to see you out there. All right. That's it, man. Let's get out of here.
We'll see you guys on Friday to recap the Nats series. Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Keep winning. Don't lose the series all year.
Keep on keeping on.
I believe in Shea Station.